Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Earlier this year, Maurice Sheehy launched Fleet, a car rental sharing platform. And Maurice joins me now to discuss this business in more detail. Maurice, Fleet has been described as the Airbnb for rental cars. But I heard that you actually funded your first business, Pure Fitness, by selling a racehorse. Is that true?
Yeah, Karl, it is indeed. So I suppose I was lucky enough to come from a farming background and we had thoroughbred horses from a young age. I always had a great interest in the racing side of things. I love a day out at the races myself, so it was always a dream to have my own horse. So what had happened was I'd saved up over the years from labouring on building sites from 16 to 18 on my summer holidays. And with that money I bought a mare in foal at Tattersall's. Eventually it came to fruition, obviously, and the horse went on and won a point-to-point race, which I then brought it to England and sold in Cheltenham sales. And the money that came from that essentially opened up my first business, Pure Fitness Gyms in Wicklow.
Now, I want to speak to you about your new business, Fleet. What is Fleet and where did you get the idea for the business?
Yeah, so Fleet is essentially a peer-to-peer vehicle rental service. So what you can do is you can rent any private individual, B&B owner or a garage, can rent out a car that they own when they're not using it to earn additional income. So you look at car ownership in Ireland today, the costs are skyrocketing. Like there was an article a few weeks ago about car ownership in Ireland costing 10,000 plus per year. If you think about the tax, the insurance, NCT, fuel costs and the odd valet, like it goes up. So we wanted to offer individuals across the country an opportunity to earn money from their cars, enable people to earn money from a depreciating asset that a lot of the time tends to just sit out in front of their house. Concept came about when I was away in the Canary Islands and we had rented an Airbnb with friends. I had to go through the process of renting from a traditional car rental company in the airport. It was a long queue. I was unhappy with the service. I got charged additional excess. So it wasn't what it was cracked up to be. And then when I got to the Airbnb, there was a car parked there for the whole week, unused in the driveway of the house. Whereas it would have made a lot more sense to me if I could have rented that Airbnb and then also rented that car that was there at the time.
Who was the typical customer for Fleet?
So I suppose our plan is to tap into the tourism market, of course. We see like 8 million tourists per year coming to Ireland. It's a huge tourist destination. 3.5 million of those are from the UK. So we really want to tap into that tourism market. I suppose it's about convenience for people as well across the country. Most rental car companies are in large urban areas or near an airport. Rurally, it's quite hard to rent a car. So yeah, we're looking at that as a large market also.
Now, Maurice, you're entering into a market with a number of very, very large players in that car rental sector. And of course, we also see the emergence of the car sharing market, with GoCar having announced that they're rolling out right across the country over the coming years. Therefore, how do you plan to compete with such established companies?
Different service. We're looking at this as, I suppose, the whole automobile industry is up in the air. Car sales are up in the air. Will people need to own cars in 10 or 15 years? Probably not. Sharing economy is going to become a lot more to the front of people's mind. You look at Elon Musk and what he's talking about with Tesla and the sharing and the autonomous vehicles. When your car isn't being used, it actually earns you money. We're helping the owner make money from their vehicle.
Now, if you've just tuned in, I'm speaking to Maurice Sheehy from Fleet. Maurice, in relation to the rentals themselves, who sets the fees?
So yeah, the beauty of it is the owner sets value of what they'd like to achieve for their rental. We set a recommended price of what we think you should be setting, but the beauty of it is it's your car, it's your baby, you set what you want. It's going to be a competitive marketplace. So if you're setting your price too high, you probably won't get the rentals. If you're on a nice low price, you'll get the rentals you require and you'll actually make money from your vehicle.
So, Maurice, let's look at the transaction from the perspectives of the car owner and the drivers. Starting with the driver, does Fleet carry out any vetting in terms of the driving history?
Yeah, so we go through a full vetting process in the back end here. Our team goes through it. So you cannot be younger than 25 years of age to rent a vehicle through Fleet at present. You must hold a valid Irish or UK licence, and you must have held that licence for a minimum of 2 years, with also no claims in the last 5 years. So we're quite strict on the rules at the minute. We do hope in the future to lower the age to 21 and allow younger drivers to come onto the platform. But I suppose as we're going through these testing periods now, initially we have to, assess the risk and see what the best way forward is. But currently, it's 25 years plus.
Now, in relation to fuel, is the driver responsible for replenishing the fuel used for the duration of the rental? And who's to say what the fuel was starting out?
Yeah, so we recommend that all owners supply the vehicle with a full tank and that the renter returns the car as they received it. Again, this is completely up to the two individuals on what way they want to do it. If the renter is happy with a quarter tank and the owner is happy to let the car go with that and be returned with that, that's fine. That's between them. Before every rental, there's a vehicle survey that's carried out in-app. So there's a button there, and the renter and the owner do a quick walk around of the car themselves, take any pictures. So again, they take a little picture that's time-stamped and saved in the back end of the app of the fuel, if there's a little scratch here, if there's a dent here, or whatever, so that they have proof then that that is not the case.
And on the topic of the car itself, are there any criteria which the vehicle must satisfy before it's eligible to appear on the fleet platform?
There is indeed, yes. So at the minute, the car can't be older than 10 years. It must not have a higher engine size than 2.5 litres, and it can't have 7 seats. We're currently working on those restrictions and trying to expand them. So we're hoping now in the next week or so to move that up to 3 litres max engine size, move the age out to 13 years, and hopefully have commercial vehicles and 7-seaters and camper vans coming into it by the end of the year before we launch internationally. Every vehicle that's uploaded on the platform goes through a reg checker. So they enter the registration while they're listing their car, and that automatically checks the NCT and tax of that vehicle. If it is not valid, you cannot list the car. It automatically will reject your vehicle.
Who checks the tyres on the car to make sure that the car is actually roadworthy?
All of these things are up to the owner. It's also up to the renter as an individual and in the peer-to-peer model to do their sort of due diligence. We have strict recommendations about all these things, that the car is always kept in a roadworthy condition, and the owner agrees to these terms when they upload the vehicle. If anything like this was not the case and it was reported to us, they would be blacklisted and removed from the platform immediately. Fleet
provides the insurance in respect of the person renting the vehicle itself. Is there any particular policy excess that the driver would have to pay in the event of an accident?
So the insurance is actually provided by AXA, their strategic partnership with this. It's fully comprehensive insurance and comes with 24/7 breakdown assistance, and that's with absolutely every rental. We will only take an excess off the card if an accident happens.
So talk to me about your plans to bring Fleet to an international market.
Yeah, so we're going through our funding round now. We're working with KPMG and we hope to start that in the next month or so. And we're looking at launching into the UK market then in early 2018. We're just currently working on some bug fixes, improving the user experience of the app, and we're going to launch our fully functional website now on the 21st of October to coincide with the app. So we feel that the website will bring a new sort of element to the product. It will give people that opportunity to have, it's like a shop front. They can see the vehicles that are there prior to downloading the app and see the value they can get before they have to commit to anything, I suppose.
But will you have much competition in the UK market?
There's one or two. The UK market is pretty much untapped. There's no real dominant player there at the minute. So I'd say it will be a race over there to try to gain as much traction as possible. Again, money will play a big part in that, and receiving a good investor, someone that has connections that can help with that. But our insurance company is very good, and will also be helping with our expansion, hopefully.
Now, one thing that we've seen Uber do over the last number of years is actually purchasing their own fleet of vehicles, and instead of just relying on third parties, they're now actually putting their own fleet in place. Will we be looking at a similar option for yourself as you raise the funds to do so?
At the minute, that's not part of our strategy anyway. That would cost quite a bit. If we could ever get the funding that Uber got, we might consider it. But I don't think we'll have that by the time we go to the UK. I suppose we're going to be looking at scaling and penetrating that market by getting in touch with garages and trying to help them utilise a bit more. Again, they're looking at ways of earning ancillary revenue to their business, because car sales, again, they're taking a dip. There's uncertainty in the market. There's been no major revolution or change to the automotive industry in the last 100 years. So if they're worried, they're looking at ways to increase their revenue or add different revenue streams. So that's probably the the way we're going to look at that when we go to the UK.
Now, to date, you have self-funded the fleet, but as you grow this business and as you look to expand it, of course, internationally, you need an awful lot of investment behind you to get your marketing message out, to create the level of awareness, both to the tourist market and also to get new cars on the platform itself. So how much do you anticipate that you will need to be able to fund this proposed expansion?
So we're going to go for a seed round of 1 million. We're currently a HPSU client with Enterprise Ireland, and we're hoping that they'll do match funding as well. So we're quite optimistic about it with our projections, and our expansion strategy is quite strong.
And Maurice, what do you envisage will be your greatest challenge over the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, currently, I suppose the main pain points we're facing are getting vehicles onto the platform. We've had such great success. We've over 10,000 downloads, nearly 5,000 active users on the profile. And the problem we're facing, which is a good problem, I suppose, is we've more people looking to rent than we have cars on the platform. So the big thing at the minute is the cars that are there, they're making money. And we just need to get more cars onto the platform. Once we can achieve that, I think that will all roll into place. So going forward, I can see that being the main issue of getting people to upload their vehicles.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.